again, Nigel's in the room. If you speak English, you wouldn't understand.
Well, if you'd like to be more private, I'll leave.
Algorithms and what kind of measurements people will need, what will be producing, rather than talking about what will be provided in terms of compute applications. I suspect that's probably more to some of the scientists in the room as well.
Sorry, Jim, I was correcting you. What answer did you give?
I said, well, we could also talk about the algorithms that we will not be running in front of level 2, and will therefore have to run some things in level 3, and what kinds of measurements are people interested in?
Okay, so, I mean, I can give a slightly more helpful answer than I did. So why don't I give us, is there a microphone?
Well, just to throw something in, I mean, one of the topics from yesterday was clearly the people who want to do low surface brightness, extended.
Oh, that's different.
Well, is that something that's
Okay, so why don't
harder level 2? Because we see the
okay,
whole.
so why don't I give you an answer? And Nigel can shout. I mean, the problem is that the NSF are paying for a bunch of concrete and a minimum amount of software and a mirror, but not paying for science. Right, Nigel? They're not paying for science, but it's true.
No, that's not true. It's not part of the construction project.
Fine, okay.
And it's not the minimal software, it's what you said you were going to do.
That's true. So, we are building, level 1 is the alert stuff. So that's variability and motion measured off 30-second integrations and 30-second programs. And I think that's pretty non-controversial. Then level 2 is what you can think of is what we have written in the contract we will deliver, as Nigel will correctly point out. That's what's described in the DPDD, which is this LSST/DPDD, which is the data products definition document. That's what we just referred to. Right, and there's a link that Mario gives somewhere, and that document is being updated. And basically, you can think about that as being Sloan-like catalogs, but better. Can't be worse, after all. No, it can't be worse, because we can read in some of the code. So that's stellar photometry at 0.5%. I hope we do better. It's galaxy photometry of varying interesting sorts. There's model set photometry. It's Trojan, chromium sort of things. Nothing isophocal. All the normal sorts of questions. I'm avoiding what you said. Right? I get that. Having run a moderately sophisticated blender after that. And that is supposed to work out of the plane. There are no guarantees of crowded fields. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't care about crowded fields, but we have said that basically the crowded field, except the bulge, is best effort, and the difference imaging will work down that way. Use difference catalogs everywhere. The direct catalogs, there are no promises on. And that's what level 2 is. Now, it's much more subtle than that, because as Richard just reminded me, there are lots of different ways to handle the sky, for example. And if you're interested in stellar photometry, you're interested in picking out the sky locally, because that's just noise that messes up your photometry. If you're interested in lensing, say, you want to get the sky well measured for galaxies that are of order that are a few arcseconds across, which means you have to estimate the sky well on scales of sort of several minutes, usually, if you're not very careful. And then there are people like who want resolved stellar populations in nearby galaxies, in which case you want to sort of remove the diffuse light so you can find individual sources in there. And there are people who care about infrared cirrus, well, that's their problem. And there are certainly people who care about diffuse structures around bright galaxies. So, we will certainly generate co-added catalogs, science-grade co-added catalogs, no medians, no barrier. I won't get that sort of thing wrong, with well-defined point spread functions, which preserve the low surface brightness signatures in the data. So that is also a level 2 product that will generate a catalog mosaic out on any scale you like.
Will we be told what scale you're doing those around make size?
We will be told. You mean told now?
Oh, we don't know. Because that's
basically for making the mosaic images, we will essentially not be filtering on the sky. There will be no scale or a scale of degree or something like that. Okay. And I think I know how to do that while taking out
So So that's a very basic question. What size are you going to make of the images that you're going to create? You know, what is the tiling step?
Probably.
That matters again.
So I think we're going to do things in chunks of probably 4K by 4K, but there'll be continuous pixel images on larger scales than that. I would say my best guess is it would be sort of order, 2 by 2 LSST focal planes, but it could be larger than that.
It's very big. I mean, with DES, right? So DES, the standard DES for data products are 3 quarters of a square. They're 20,000 pixels, something by 20,000 pixels, which is 3 quarters of a degree. And that's tile. And then I assume some sort of overlap.
So the process.
And that, in some sense, tells you when you make a tile on that scale, what's.
Well, there are two different answers. Jim gave you two different answers. For the type of screen cap, we're building the day accessing the scale of 1.8 degrees. I think we'll probably go focal plane, but I know how to put those together before you do the sky subtraction.
Yeah, but you're not doing this when you're making tile.
No, I get that.
What the word is, your tile.
You're tying it across the scale. That's right. So we will generate patches.
We generate a single epoch focal planes, which have been sky subtracted.
No.
Will they be a product? Each visit, this is the word.
Yes.
Yeah, I know for people doing sort of galaxy science, we're expecting them to not have to look at sort of the single epoch images at all. We're expecting them to want to look at the coax and the data product that come from the multi-epoch data.
If people want single epoch sky subtracted images for doing low surface brightness science in, then I think it's not on the list of things we would do. We have, that's just a matter of participate in IO actually, but we generate those images permanently.
Yeah, but I also don't think that,
I don't think
given the way we're doing the processing, I don't think there's any advantage to doing it on Friday.
I agree with that, but I said if people want it, then we could generate that. The intention would be for low surface brightness things. I mean, basically we have to write stuff to this, we wouldn't otherwise write to this, for those who were wondering why I'm being slightly easy about it. Otherwise we will generate coax images. Let's not worry about variability for now, that's just a nightmare to think about coax images. We will generate coax images on the scale of order at least a focal plane. They'll be cut up into smaller pieces that could be, as it were, 4K by 4K with overlaps around the outside, but with essentially the guarantee of pixel equality of the overlaps through this overlap and that overlap. So you should think about the scale that's being done. And those will be available without any sky filter. Now, the harder case is what's going to be in the catalogs. Because if you generate just one pass through, you need to pay attention here, Jim, because you're going to write the code. To do the sky subtraction on only one scale and only generate one catalog, then we then do have to choose what that scale will be. And my reaction, I would choose that on a scale that optimizes the faint extragalactic science, rather than point source photometry, which would be going down to a smaller scale, or large low surface brightness features around extended galaxies. And the reason for that is...
What are clusters of galaxies?
Clusters of galaxies sounds like he's working his way towards a solution that would be nicely suited for.
I'm trying to... now, cluster of galaxies are a problem, and the trade-off here is between how well your blenders work and how well you preserve the intercluster light. At the moment, on the HSC data, it's going deep enough, it's going deep in the LSST. The data I'm talking about is about 15 minutes on an 8 meter, so it's significant depth of band. We're having trouble with successfully deblending clusters of galaxies by the time we get down to the full depth. Now, I think that's a technical problem that can be solved. If we can solve that, we can afford to leave light in. I don't know the answer to what we're going to do. I'm very sensitive to clusters of galaxies being a problem. And then there are two problems actually. It's getting the colors of objects right and it's getting the fluxes of objects right. And we will make an effort. I think we will deliver good colors for whatever that may mean for all the galaxies. That's what we've got. I think the total fluxes will probably be okay, depending on the trade-offs between what other people want. Now this is why I need Jim to pay attention. We are currently not planning to, but we could, and I don't think Nigel would kill me, produce.
I wouldn't Philip, whatever you're saying.
Might feed you.
Yeah. Marion, I might get into trouble.
I might
So
feed you.
this might lead, I mean, this is a little bit towards the boundary of level 2, level 3, because we have not promised, we have promised we will use lots of different sorts of magnitudes for different science. And the examples we have given are aperture, elliptical aperture magnitudes, chrome mag, Trojan mag, I think they're both in, and model fit mag. And those were chosen to be, we do different pieces of science with those. At total constant database size, processing time, I can certainly imagine replacing, or supplementing those with fluxes estimated on some assumption about the background, or with some other assumption about the background, to optimize different pieces of science. Because the reason you do galaxy photometry multiple ways is to optimize different pieces of science. I think those are open questions.
I suspect, in terms of the numbers that we can't change in terms of how much it costs to do this, the change in cost of running those algorithms and developing those algorithms is actually small. It's a small part of the overall system in terms of both compute budget and person effort. Where it might hit us is in the database size. If we need to measure sort of a different set of objects, because we detected a different set of objects with a different, that could get complex. But I think there's ways you can measure objects differently, even if you detect them, if you find a way to detect them consistently with all the different definitions of factors.
So now we're getting down to level 3. One thing Richard mentioned was that what happens if he wants to turn off fake detections and use only look for objects that are significantly larger than PSF. I've slightly rephrased what you are. So as to generate a good input catalog for strong energy circuits. Now, if we can do that, I think I know how to do that. If it's of sufficiently general interest and sufficiently cheap that it's just sort of another different way of doing processing generically, then it remains as level 2. And this is related to background suppression. The way I would actually do that is I would do a very aggressive background suppression to suppress the wheels and things. I'll show you how that works in my workshop, but we actually do that. If that's generically useful, it solves a lot of problems, including better galaxy photometry clusters, where you could get a lot of shredding sort of problem. Then that is something we can include as a level 2 output. It might mean you don't get both the Chrome and the Trojan because there are constraints from our contract with the National Science Foundation what we're going to do. So that's why, in some sense, we need Mario here to decide where the boundary comes between level 2 and level 3. Now, the thing we're not allowed to, the thing we're not currently planning to do, that makes it very complicated, we have talked about in the past, is running extra algorithms at the same time as doing our regular processing. It's what was called level 2.5 requirement. But I believe that that's now been taken off the books. And if you want to know the details, you should ask Mario. It's partly connected with people worried about running other people's code in our address spaces. I don't know whether it's possible to come back and use some of the 10% allowance for level 3 to say, if you bless this algorithm, can we run this in addition out of our level 3? I don't know how that works. That's really a Mario question and a Rob question. And it gets back to what the NSF have promised to pay for. It's not that they're not trying to do something. It is a contract in some sense. He's told them what you're going to do, and if we change that, it's potentially a problem. Andrew.
So
I'm not running this. Hey, he's running this. Richard, may I do it all? Yeah.
So we are going to be processing, as you mentioned the other day, we are going to be processing every year. And even if you're not allowing people to drop it in their own algorithms, then the process of improved techniques based on the first year of data, based on an analysis that someone from a cosmology or intergalactic community may produce, still has the opportunity to come into the pipeline.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I don't know whether it is, if it costs us extra time to do that. And I don't know whether I just don't know how that works.
I think that's part of operations, not part of construction, so it's not something anyone knows, I think.
Other than there's a finite budget for compute resources.
Yeah.
I mean, my particular use case actually is not UL, it's really should be just tuning of a parameter already in your, that's what we do. We just take an S extractor and we just run it again, and you just choose the parameters. So that's not rocket science. We've been doing imaging surveys for 50 years as a community. I think we know what algorithms we need, and I assume you're going to be implementing all of those ones.
Yeah.
And it's really how you choose tuning of the parameters, which have to be optimized.
Well,
80-20 type thing.
there is quite a bit of new algorithmic stuff that's going to be up for LSST. And the two big reasons for that, I think, are that it's deep enough and not from space, that deep learning is a much bigger problem than it ever has been before. The other one is that
So for industrial processing, not
Industrial
for individual people doing it.
right. The other big difference, I think, is that in both reflectometric calibration and our PSF modeling, we're caring about chromatic dependence in a way that I think no one else is except Euclid in their visit. And that's because we'll have GCR effects and
Differential chromatic refractory effects, because nobody being this telescope.
and I think it needs to be the systematics down to a level where those things become important, whereas they haven't been important, compared to statistical errors for previous surveys. So that's I think where things are sort of qualitatively different for LSST.
But Richard says we want to run some simple things. We can certainly do that. The question is whether we can do that in the compute budget, the database cipher, and that's getting into the level 3 thing. If we can come up with something generically useful, then it's stupid for everybody to have to do that. And that's why I'm interested in coming up with generic solutions that also enable your science. And some of those things are new. And I'll just push back a little bit about everything having been known for 50 years. Nobody did industrial scale model photometry on galaxies until slow.
No, but yeah, for example, the reason it wasn't done was because of complicated. And people would like to have done it.
But we actually did. I'm going to get complicated and sleazy. But there are going to be things like that that to take full advantage of the data, or not full advantage, but appropriate advantage of the data on the scale we're going to have data, as opposed to the small units. And I think there are going to be some cleverish things in that.
So, naive question. If I have a code which does, let's say, morphological classification of galaxies,
Yep.
From some machine learning code, should I do that post-processing by myself, or can I incorporate that? Can you incorporate that into your pipeline?
Okay, so this is something to answer John's one.
Yeah, so I think the first question is, how many galaxies do you want to run it out? If you can make it easy, magnitude or cut or something, and get it down to a manageable size, then I think it's very clearly a post-processing kind of thing. If you need to run out all of the galaxies and it's a really cheap thing to do, then I think it might be worth talking to us about getting it sort of included in the stack. If it's sort of epsilon more than what we're already doing, it might be.
Well, I think one. The other thing is that we will give you a flux calibrated image having been detected with the master bane set, an estimate of PSF at that point, the other parameters, the other fluxes, the object, the initial galaxy fit, and then say, is there anything you could do relative to that? And though you could, of course, start again from scratch, in many cases it's more efficient not to have to start from scratch, but to be able to use what we've already done. I mean, it's slow. I don't think anybody who redid my spread function estimation. They used it and then went on and did more interesting things.
Yeah, so that brings up the point that even if you are doing your own post-processing in level 3 or whatever, it would make sense to do it within our software framework so you can make use of our PSF models, our object definitions, and so on.
But it very much depends on the algorithm that you're applying. If you're doing a feature-based machine learning algorithm, then what you should be interested in is ensuring that the features that are measured in the current pipelines are appropriate, are the appropriate inputs to your algorithm. If you're doing a pixel-based analysis or some deep learning type approach, then what Robert and Tim are saying is absolutely.
And this gets back to something Jim mentioned, which is that after the first data release after 6 months or whatever, we're going to reprocess all the data. We're going to do it every year. So for the things that either we did really badly or the things that we forgot to do, there's an opportunity to get those added. The classic example here is an SDSS, where Jim Dunn and I invented an incredibly clever way of measuring shape for lens. So after the first year, we in fact adopted some code from Michigan to do, which is now very passé, adaptive Gaussian fits. But that then was used for all the rest of the stone processing. And I'm certainly expecting that somebody will come in and say, idiot, here's the way to do it. And we will adopt that, maybe as a replacement for what we're doing. And that's traditionally been starting out at quote level 3 because we're not doing it, but are being smart enough to say, you're clever, let's make that level 2. But not if we add too much scope. I mean, there's a scope problem.
So, I mean, this is going to be one there above which you guys do, so principle is better to do that than intend, unless there's something that you think. So we talk to you and then you, I guess, tell us if it's going to be useful globally, and then you make a decision as to whether you incorporate that into the
Yeah, I think that brings up, I think for people who are interested, especially in brighter, rarer objects, one of the most important things to think about now is if you normally do your own pixel processing to do your science, what kinds of things will you need from our catalog to select those objects? Because our catalogs will be good for a lot of science directly, the relensing people hopefully will not have to do processing. But if you're doing, low surface brightness features of galaxies, our catalogs aren't going to tell you everything you need about that. But hopefully they'll tell you everything you need to find the galaxies that you need to look at closer.
And that's part of this point from Mario is intended to be that one of the agonies about doing this is to say, I want to process 50 million galaxies. That's pretty easy, except I have to get the disk set up and I have to get the clusters, get Slurm running, and I have to actually industrialize it, and it's got to be robust. And we're offering you pipelines that do 20, 30, 51% of the work, and middleware which says if you have a cluster running in Condor or something, this will do the boring bits, and perhaps you're not interested in databases. But if you can put your stuff in on top of what we're doing, in some sense we can give you an environment that makes it easy to run that code. That's the intention. Now easy is in the eye of the beholder, and those of you who have been following LSST code for a while will realize things are not as easy as you would like, but this is a commitment that we will make this happen. So it's not like SDSS where I say, yeah sure, take it out to CBS, good luck. Which is nobody's succeeded in doing, I don't think. I mean, here we are going to make it possible for you to reuse our pipeline codes and our middleware layers. So maybe you only want the middle and a teeny tiny bit of the I/O, and we can help you with that.
Just, so you mentioned what kind of data products could I use from the list of things that you're thinking of detail now to pick out galaxies which will have these kinds of low surface brightness because it's, if I look at SDSS, it's very hard, right? So with SDSS, I have to look at the image myself using Galaxy or something like that. So there's nothing in the SDSS catalog which really allows me to automatically detect a superset of galaxies, which contain these kind of
That's a very good question. I think the first order, our database is essentially the same as the SDSS one in terms of what kinds of quantities it will produce. And most of those quantities will sort of implicitly assume the galaxies are elliptically symmetric with some sort of standard profile. And so you might be able to find sort of objects that have core residuals there. I think it's also likely that many of the objects you're interested in will be treated as multiple objects by the blender. And therefore looking for spatial patterns and groups of objects would be the way to go. And that's a tricky thing to write in, say, a simple database query. And something that it would be good maybe talking to our database people about to see how it would look or how you might look for certain orientations and groups of things.
Yeah, but that's really hard. In some sense, I actually believe in statistics rather than believe in expectation. So what we're mostly measuring are statistically well-defined operations. If I knew how to write a statistical model for low surface brightness junk, I could extract that into the ground. So if you can help me, or Jim, this is Jim Roche, by the way, who is the pipeline person in Princeton, that actually does all the work. Capture that information in a way that's, you want some way to decomposition, you want this ratio of this scale and this scale, and demonstrate that that works really well. And that's a Jim generically useful thing because enough people in the UK community or the German community or whatever really care about low surface brightness stuff. You care about tails, and Joe cares about intercrustal light. And you can work with us or just give us an algorithm that does it. Then we're very open into, after you've demonstrated that it works, either running that on this last goal, helping you run that yourselves, or if the community makes enough of that, can convince us, and I'm not sure what that takes because of the resources, to run that in the industrial scale. Now, what I thought Tommy was going to say was the DESC, the Dark Energy Science Collaboration, are already planning embarrassingly large amount of compute because they want to do a lot of reprocessing, a lot of injection of fake objects, you'll do some of that. So if you're looking at how much compute at this point in the nurse?
We were nominally asking for sufficient compute power to reprocess the whole of a year's worth of LSST data. I think it's 300 million CPU hours. And that was for the first year. The expectation was that the development of algorithms with DESC would be predominantly in the first year or two, and then that information would transition, assuming that it doesn't impact the schedule or cost of LSST, that would transition into the data management pipelines, and then as we progressively went through the survey, that we would focus less on optimizing cosmology-based algorithms and work more on doing the analysis and so on.
So that's another big work at the cluster system, which is not that terrifying. And that's Mario's much normally makes it. This isn't that much compute these days. I mean, that's a bit of
Well, a core hour is about a cent at the moment. So that is $3 million.
Yeah, but that's much more than what it does. I mean, so you can imagine.
I know what teraflop is. I know what a core hour is. Most cores aren't getting faster.
They're running.
Exactly.
Yeah, a corollary of the fact that the QPU is not all that big though, is that the algorithms have to go very fast. If you have an algorithm you want to apply to essentially all the pixels in order to select some rare classic object, I think the sort of minimum requirement for us considering doing that in all the processing is that it has to run sort of order tens of milliseconds per core per object, which is much faster than most people are used to, say, doing GALFIT.
Oh yeah, like the GALFIT stuff is now seconds.
But the slow code or I think that's process. You can run fast code if you're willing to see.
So I think there's two other aspects related to the DESC analysis. One is that it will make use of as much of the data management system as possible. So it's not going to rewrite its own tools. It's going to use the LSST and add it to that frame of the LSST. And then the second thing is that the National Supercomputing Centers at DOE Labs are all using Nice Landing. It's the Core EU2. And we still have to work through about how efficiently the current sets of algorithms actually work.
Well, national is your nationality, right?
Okay. One of my nationalities.
Yes.
You guys look at GP. What's the GP?
No, it's not.
Nice land.
What's the other one after my family?
Corey.
No,
Corey is the Corey phase 2 is the next generation.
No, it's the Intel name for their 5.
This code doesn't currently work on GPU. I mean, it does actually. We're not assuming GPUs to run this. But we're looking at how the files are coming up with very many cores and what the ratio of memory to core is and all those sorts of horrors.
Because the lensing people can just really work on. They're just looking at little pieces on these objects, parameterizing.
Yeah, but
It's small postage stamps, but many small postage
Yes,
stamps.
meds.
So it's,
You reorganize the data, sorry.
Sorry.
last question is for Joe to say that.
I just have another
So
question.
if I want to test my algorithm, let's say from one what data set should I use that's available? Should I use decals or should I use estimates?
You should use decals or should you use
Estimates.
you should use that.
you can do a lot worse than decals.
Decals doesn't go very deep. I mean, one of the things that we are discovering to our agony in Princeton is that there's a assumptions about how separated things are, how much those brightness jump there is, get broken by that data.
So when we will have, here's a
That
question.
data's available.
When will we have LSST-like
February.
data products on LSST-like data?
February.
Well, those will be very preliminary LSST like data products.
You're talking about Comcast. Are you talking about Comcast?
No. So my proposal that wasn't terribly helpful was have a screen cap. So 1.8 square degree on Subaru. And the data for that starts going public in February next year.
It's a wide area, right?
Well, 100 square degrees we're releasing. Okay, but it's quite, that's 15 minutes on an 8-meter per band.
You guys are going to post it.
We will process that, and that will be available. Now, I don't think there's a lot of politics here. There are 3 different groups, all of them failing database problem by being capped. I think we will definitely make fixed files available at some level. When we make a database available, it's not ideal, it's deeper than depth. There must be really deep depth down fields, that would be another opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The supernova fields.
Yeah, the
Those
supernova.
are small.
It's not much area, but CFHD deep would also be about right now.
So, yeah, but I think the area is tiny.
So the supernova fields are 30 square degrees.
30?
Well, not in one jump.
They're 10 3 square degree
Yeah,
fields.
so it's actually 300.
Deep data, I haven't done it.
And so, well, LSST will not be efficiently processing all of these. Our stack should basically work on all of these data sets. So if you can find enough sort of postdoc effort to run the stack on all of them, you can get the outputs. And the outputs the stack produces today are not like exactly like the stack outputs, 5 years from now, but they'll ask them how to be approached that.
Okay, so how does it use data from that?
I think so. I mean, if you had enough deckhand data, that'll do too.
Yeah. But we happen to know quite a lot about HSC, so it's
But those, for instance, in Europe, those of us who are in DAS, should we be working together to run the LSST stack on DAS data, or the way on anything to do it? Because we know a lot about data.
Yeah.
But it's going to be non-zero effort. That's
Oh yeah, no, of course, because we don't know the stack. Which is the bigger challenge, learning the data or the software stack?
But it might be better to use the Hyper Supreme.
Yeah, that's right.
we've got a lot of effort in understanding HSC.
As long as that time scale works with next February, that's not so long.
Yeah, the first data.
May I ask about catalog operations? So I think this is a question for Robert also.
Yeah, I'm listening. I was looking for a window.
So what if you want to do something like extract shear profiles around some list of galaxy clusters, or you want to go in and measure redshifts of a bunch of galaxy clusters, that sort of thing? Is the model that we should try to make our existing code consistent with your middleware and have it running somewhere either on NERSC or NCSA, or is the model that we get the catalogs and we do what we want to do?
My answer to that would be that we have generated catalogs which ought to be of sufficient quality that you can do the lensing without going back to the pockets.
Yes.
So you don't need to run our middleware.
It depends on how compute intensive your catalog level operations are. And then I think it's not obvious that our middleware will help you that much with it, but it may be better than writing your own middleware from scratch if you need to do it at a larger scale than you have before.
Is it accurate then to say that for the most part it would only be pixel level calculations that you would imagine would fit into this category of level 3 that's integrated into your processing system?
I think it depends on sort of personal trade-offs of how much infrastructure and middleware you've already built yourself. If you already have a lot yourself, you probably won't gain gain a lot by trying to use LSSTs for your catalog level operations. If you haven't built a lot yourself, then it may well be easier to use LSSTs than write your own new ones from scratch.
What about measurements of the correlation function or the power spectrum of samples of galaxies or samples of objects? Again, it's kind of a catalog operation, but it actually can be quite costly.
Yeah, I know the database people are thinking about how to optimize those kinds of queries and how to represent those kinds of things as database queries. But I don't have a really good sense of how far along they are, and in fact whether the problem is really possible to do in that sense. We are planning to do things like provide selection maps and the kinds of masks that people typically use. I don't think we'll be providing random catalogs, but we'll be providing things we need to generate random catalogs for that.
Okay.
All right.
While we're talking, I think I put HSC data up to give some idea of why I'm frightened of it. But if you can't close the window, you're not going to see much. You can come look at my screen after the event. Wrong one. Sign wrong. I'm enjoying this. This is fun. So, if and when we get dark, you can look at some data and get some idea of what we're looking at. We can certainly, we are planning to process a significant amount of deep data and make it available somehow or other to the collaboration. And the data I would propose at HSC, I'm hoping for something else if somebody has some other proposal. I'm trying not to annoy the DES people because it's not only data topic, that's not the same as saying it's going to take out things and reprocess it. We talked to the DECAL's crew, we may reprocess that. So what issues are there later? So far we've got.
You should just talk to Josh if you want to reprocess
I did talk to Josh, but he said he was okay, so we'll probably make it happen. It was pushed back from other places.
Well, the question is, what are you going to do? Is LSST going to then serve the calibrated process ES data?
That's the question. We could, legally we could, but would that be a nice thing to do? I just don't know what we're going to do. Much better on my screen is my standard excuses. So this is Cosmos, and this is I can point to the URL for this. The background is somewhat over-subtracted in these images, as you can see around the clusters. But basically everywhere you're picking up. This is a high relative object relative to this. You can see GRIZ, I think it's probably relative 0.7, something like that. Those surface brightness stuff, another high relative galaxy behind it, blue stuff around the wings. This is what we're trying to deal with. So when I'm talking about the deblenders, how much we want to over-subtract the sky and all those sorts of things, you can turn that light. I'm sorry to be so pushy, but if we can figure out how to turn out the well, that's the projector, not that one. Okay, maybe that was a stupid one.
Maybe these lights.
Yeah. It's a projector. It's a projector, that's fine. So this is the sort of thing that you're getting at. These things really go up very much further. So almost every object in the sky is a blend of objects of different redshifts. And the question is, how well can we deliver your science based on that looking like this?
So if we have a catalog, and then you were to make a model from that catalog and subtract it,
How good it
what with residual can be left?
I know that at slow depth, that works for you. But this is a different world.
At DS depth, it works well with S-extractor.
Yeah. Okay.
But this is
different.
Well, like certain S-extractors we blended as well.
Robert, what depth is
It would be blended up with.
What is it?
there's some
Something 27 something like 3 hours back and 8 hours. It's a bit deeper than LSST.
So it's 3 mags deeper than, no, not 3, 5 mags deeper than.
What's wrong then?
Can we turn our lights back out so it's just got turned on?
I don't know how that happened.
We're slow enough that we're all
That was.
Wrong one.
He was doing it, but
Yeah, you can run it. You can run software then. You can run it.
More sophisticated.
You can run it.
That's
Run it. It's just like a Bible. Yes. Okay.
So this is just generically what data looks like these days. And it's a different experience from handling data at, certainly my experience is fairly short stuff. Everywhere you're looking at I don't think processing Sloan or something like that will really getting you ready for what we're dealing with in LSST. But then there are questions like, well, if you just reduce the depth of the data to something we were asking of you, and don't try and go so fake, can we pull out the properties of the brighter objects really well? You should be able to. It's like a isomorphized version of the SDSS. But that's a trade-off. I don't know how to do that trade-off. I'm tempted to say that in the same way as when you run any blending, you put out the properties of the parent, you put out the properties of the children, that I can imagine putting out the properties of an object as measured to a bright magnitude in it, in which case this sort of fluff will get mixed into this object and this object will get pulled out. And separately a different catalogue that will do a less different.
The other side is because the ice will start touching, so he's dead.
Oh, that's right.
So deciding what the parents are.
That's right. So we would do it precisely. We would do it to a lower brighter magnitude, then things don't overlap. You don't have a problem. We pull this piece of flux out of this thing, which requires a good blender. So I'm certainly open to. We will be pragmatic, and how well that will reflect on your science. And when you say, Jim says, I want to find the low surface brightness junk out here, how well will that work? I think that's a really hard problem. So I don't guarantee particularly that we will do a good job.
So the problem is that you might subtract out the low surface brightness jump.
And the problem is that it's terribly easy to associate the outer parts of galaxies with the things that are behind them. Morphologically, if you've got a large extended wing, it's very hard to separate that from being an extended source at high redshift as opposed to part of the foreground galaxy. And you can imagine using colors for that. And we will investigate. You see these over subtract, certainly on my screen, there's sort of a dark ring around that.
Robert, can I ask you, is it also an issue that you might subtract out the low surface brightness stuff around galaxies?
That depends on what scale I decide I want to do background subtraction.
Because it looks pretty good here, actually. Right?
It's been optimized to some scale or other.
When you look at that galaxy in the middle of your picture, right? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that people are looking after. Right?
Nice things like this.
Right, that looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Beautiful but horrible.
No, it's not. Depends what you want to do.
I don't know, that's what I was thinking.
So-
I don't know how we're going to do that, to balance the different people who are going through different pieces of science.
Yeah.
And some of them are going to come to level 3. And if you say, I want to understand the structure of M31, which we're not going to observe, purely based on pipeline processing, well, good luck to you. Because I'm not going to optimize it for Messier galaxies. Because, unless I get a lot of pushback from the entire science.
That implies then that the conversation that's going on next door is all about level 2, doing level 2 in the galactic plane. Because you've said multiple times that you're after the extragalactic sky.
No.
I applaud that.
Well, no, it's not quite as simple as that, because I'm also interested in stellar photonics. I said we're not guaranteeing to reproduce Gale or Wolf, my thesis code in crowded field photonics. On the other hand, I don't want to be in the Sloan limit where we give up 50 degrees above the plane. So when designing the blenders, they are intended to take into account priors of an density of stars and work reasonably well down into the limit where there are many stars, but still the galaxies are interesting. What I'm not sure is whether we're working down to the core of the LMC or down to the galactic plane, except for differencing.
That's pretty much what I said. So those guys, if that's their science, they basically need to do all of that as level 3.
No, most of their science is not within 5 degrees of the plane, because we're going deeper down and there's an awful lot of halo stuff out there. So if you're interested in star forming regions in the disk, then I agree. most of the sky, and certainly the sort of local group or Milky Way science that I'm interested in, the structure of the halo, for example, that will be definitely coming out of the Lupton. So I'm not, I mean, so I'm done trying to confess. I'll leave my screen up, mess with it up. So does that help? Does that give you some idea of what you wanted to know, Richard?
Yeah, I think seeing data. I have two more questions actually. I don't want to dominate the conversation. Anybody else want to get in? How is your detection image going to be created? James, is there going to be more than one detection image? I mean, for dropout objects, for instance, do you want to say D-band dropouts or even I-band dropouts?
Yeah.
Just making a detection image, just adding noise in. So there's the first images didn't even have the red bands in them. So for dropout objects in particular,
We'll definitely have multiple detection images. And I think you can assume that that will be at least as good as detecting on every band independently. We may go a step further than that and detect on different linear combinations of bands that optimize certain SEDs. We're also, before we are done sort of detecting, we're going to, well, our detections are going to be, we'll detect separately on every band, and then we'll merge detections across all the bands, linear combinations of bands, different epic ranges to find, slowly moving objects. And we'll also add in all the detections from all the difference imaging. So anything that was a transient is also going to go in there. So you should get the supernova as a separate thing from the host galaxy when we go into blend and then measure everything. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. That's a big complex merging problem, but it's also sort of a straightforward one, and we're hoping that that will give us object definitions that allow us to blend all day.
We look at PSF here. This is for scattering of the channel stops in the CCDs. Classic problem in the wideband. You'll see that this galaxy is bright enough. You can pick up channel stop parts of the PSF. So when you're thinking about PSFs in the wideband, don't think about them being circular.
I just think we've got this in dance, but I don't know what they were.
It's a fraction of the channel stops. There's a little bit coming off the serials. The serials are this direction, so even the non-saturated objects, but most of it's off the channel stops. It's a generic feature of chips.
What is the C in that image?
Point 8-ish. The best we take is 0.4, but that's not the best thing. On my left?
You showed me that one.
Yeah, so it's just horrifying. The G-band maybe a bit worse. The first image I showed was RIZ, this is ZIY. So it's pretty good. It's better than LSST. We're not expecting it, unfortunately.
No, but is this data public or is this still?
This image is published. This data is going to go public in February. I can send you the URL for getting this in.
Yeah, that would be great.
It just gives you some idea of what's going on.
So what bands are we into this one?
This one's now GRI. I just changed it.
Okay, so that's the Y.
It's just Y.
The Y is the one we.
The Y is the one with chip. These are 200 micron chips.
Yeah.
So a little bit thinner than theirs, which is 250. But by the time you're getting out there, they're still transparent. So the light's coming in. It's scattering off the channel stops, not the series. I thought it'd be coming off the gate, coming off the channel stops and going out. So you don't see it yet. This is GR. It's different. Anyway.
So here's the question. So if you run your cataloging on images, you then took the catalog and made a model from the catalog and then subtracted that model from the data.
Yeah.
Is that a useful product? Because people who then look for those sort of brightness materials, that's what would be left, potentially.
That's an interesting question.
And all the artifacts.
I never did that. Dustin's probably done that. Dustin Land. Good question. It depends how good the models are. At Sloan, there's depths, they're pretty good. And for two reasons it's harder. One is it's more crowding, the other is Galaxies more of a mess by the time you're looking at restoring you at high redshift. I guess that's a good question. You could certainly imagine doing that. If people have good ideas, I'm always interested in clever ideas, so it'd be great.
residual and there's.
So that's the next thing. Then on S extractor, for instance, or S extractor, you're going to catalog feature analysis on the actual this residual image.
Yeah. Well, I think if we discovered we could do that, we would probably try to extend the initial analysis to improve it.
Yeah.
But it's a question of how much, because we do it routinely. It depends how generically.
We don't know how useful these things are. For year one, you should have a very well-defined set of parameters.
But I mean, there are things like, I think we're almost certainly the multi-scale decompositions of objects as part of the blend of 6 percolate. You look at these images, they all percolate. And you don't care about the details of what's going on in this little group over here when you're worrying about this galaxy, this tetrad and stuff, and vice versa. And potentially that's information we can put back. Because, I mean, I have...
These asteroids.
Yeah, these are actually, this is actually a linear sum. It's a straight mean of the images. Because that way the spread function is well defined at every point. And in fact, Jim said you might want to use our code to read it with the PSF modeling. It's complicated in the sense that if you ask what the PSF here is, I'll tell you the sum of the PSF that went into that part of the image. So it's not continuous on this image. But the consequence of doing a straight sum without the difference of image means that objects that you can't identify the mass sum of them are leaking through. That won't be from the LSST processing. But if I had just done something cosmetic like n sigma cliff, it would look better. But the spread function with function of magnitude, you can't relent it. This image is good enough for relenting if you're interested in clusters or if you're interested in shear out to 50-ish, 100 degrees, something like that. Not great, but not terrible. So rows, what, 10 minus 5 or something on this?
Yeah.
Something like that. So, not good enough, but not terrible. We have not got a lot of evidence in that.
So it's not. Sorry, what are the filters in this image?
Sorry?
You mentioned it. What are the filters in this image?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
What are the filters?
This is GRI now. The tool will do GRI's, GRIZY. We don't have a U-band. And we didn't put out narrowband data. One of the cool things you can do is to make a color composite with the NB921 is in the middle of Z band, and Z and Y, the 4 green things. That's kind of cool.
What's the other thing?
Well, it's pretty sure. So I can't. Oh, you see the blobby thing. I think you see Kubernetes. But we took those and we got the NB9. It's kind of cool. I can show you offline. I don't know about that one. Other questions? I think over the session, I think.
Well, that's fine. We want to pick your brains because in some sense we're getting us a preview of what we're going to get. And so when it's done, no questions, too dumb. Yes.
Well, I have a question maybe for Randy, and that's, what about these higher level analysis tools? That's all being done with ESC, or it's being done within the LSST science working groups, or?
I think all science working groups are doing different levels of analysis depending on the science case that they're interested in. Yeah, a lot of the cosmology related ones are being done through the desk working groups. I can show you just a list of what we think of the next 3 years of where we would put resources if we had people. To give you a sense of what are the tall poles that people think are going to be challenging from the computational and not really research aspect.
Okay.
That'd be great.
Well, that's not my deal.
You want it?
The answer is
scientists. Pipeline scientists are people who are not research postdocs, but people who work at the infrastructure. So one of the large computational problems that we had to address, and algorithmic problems, we did a kind of a case study of this, and we came up with about, I think it's 9 areas that we feel need to be addressed in the near term, maybe in the next 3 years, where we need to put resources. There's if you look at the science roadmap for DES, we have many more tasks associated with it. This is just kind of give you a flavor of them. So one of them was cosmological shear inference, and part of this was doing a lot of validation associated with data management pipelines to ensure that the shear measurements are appropriate for being able to do inference. Okay. And then there was a lot of other work developing algorithms that may be different in, there's an algorithm that Gary Bernstein used to come up with
for measuring galaxy shear.
Yeah, for doing shear estimation and calibration. And so, which may not fit naturally into the path of the data management group. So also to evaluate that. The second one is galaxy blending is a big question for DES because of photometric redshifts and any of the photometric calibration. So there's work going on with David Kirkby on this, and a lot of this will be, again, it will be validating the data management pipelines that are produced and seeing if there's any tweaks or enhancements to the algorithms that may be useful. Supernova and strong lensing. This is mainly at the pixel level, actually. So Piranha is doing a lot of the classification of supernovae based on their light curves. What we're interested here is taking sets of images, doing it in subtraction, looking at the sources that are detected, and understanding how well you can identify how can you do clean image subtraction, and how can you do characterization of the strong lensing. What measurements would you make to detect strong lensing? What measurements would you make optimally for detectors?
Yes, this is quite our strong lensing you're looking for. Is this quite our strong lensing where you're looking for the variations? Quite our, or is it?
At the moment it's quasar strong lensing, but it will evolve from there. There's a project called Twinkles, which is sprinkling in supernovae and strong lenses into simulated images, and then running through the pipelines and determining how well they can measure the photography coming out, and then how well they can build light.
But can I ask, so all of these are areas that you've identified as needing additional effort, or are they just areas that are very important and you've already teams have coalesced?
We have people working on these areas, but these are areas where we think there needs to be continued effort over the next 3 to 4 years.
So you would welcome contributions
Yes.
from international?
100%. In fact, contributions where you write down an MOU of what you're going to deliver or commit to some delivery will be extremely welcome here, because in terms of the people that we have access to, when we did this process, we estimated it's about 1 FTE per person. I'll show you this. This is the 1 FTE per example.
And in some cases you only have half an FTE.
Quarter of an FTE per many cases. So this is kind of the timeline of when what we think the work needs to will take in terms of how long we need, where we want to bring the work in, when we want to start the work, and how long we think we're going to need to keep people working on it. And a lot of this is tied into areas such as when data management is going to start delivering, the blending determines when it's worth putting effort into evaluating how well they're performing. We try to sync up some of this. So I'll just go, so cluster mass calibration is actually mainly simulations survey geometry is some of the stuff that Jim was talking about, where you have the information available to characterize what the selection function is. But this is to kind of go the next step in terms of how do we use that for these two functions, including generating randoms and actually maybe adding an additional sets of metadata to describe the survey geometry. Observing strategy support is kind of an early process because we have to understand the cadence of the observations, and that ties into the white paper that Joko talked about. And then the rest of the next three are all kind of cosmology inference. So this is core cosmology pros and cosmology likelihoods are things like cosmosis that Joe Zunz has been working on. So likelihood estimation for cosmology. Covariance estimation is a big open problem in terms of how these simulations you need to generate covariances to put uncertainties on the cosmology parameters. And then photometric redshifts is another one that I think the next year is focusing on, or the next couple of years is focusing on the techniques, and then after that scaling out those techniques to the amount of data that's going to come out of LSST, but also how do you characterize the PFC, what the probability of the photometric redshift as a function of redshift, or as a function of time. So this kind of gives you a flavor of the major areas of work that desk and they're going to be working on. And as I said, we think we have about a quarter of an FT, half an FT, and we think we need about one FT on at least one FT on each one of these. So that gives you, as I said, mostly if you're part of desk, you have access to all of this. You have access to all of the reports that are all public internal to the desk collaboration. And if you have any questions about this either now or later on, we'll have time to talk about it.
Is there a similar structure in place on the non-dark energy science? Not somebody's desk, I don't mean, but I mean somebody who's identified all the problems that are remaining.
The Galaxies working group produced a roadmap, or had a draft of the roadmap that Harry Ferguson was leading, and I think that went through some process, and I'm not sure whether it came to a conclusion yet.
Yeah, it hasn't come to.
It hasn't.
We're going to do that in the Oxford.
So I think other working groups are trying to come up with these roadmaps.
Thank you.
I guess with nothing else, we can just thank everybody for the contributions, what people find useful.
Well, I think we can say that then, I mean, any of you who are interested, I mean, if you're interested in dark energy, obviously you should talk to Andy and see if there's some way you can contribute. I thought that the goal of this session was also to just identify maybe some new issues that haven't been, that would be driven by some of your science projects. I don't know.
Well, I think the issue we don't know until we see the pipeline photos. My let's see. Yeah, I don't know what I think it's this. I mean, it's low search brightness. The three speakers talking about. I think the other population is large resolved galaxies. Not like M31, but there are big galaxies. I suspect their problems are similar to galactic people, almost. How you spatial filter. But it's not my science, I don't believe.
I do think that it's, rather than waiting until the LSST pipelines are mature enough for your test, it would be good to find whatever you can, data you can in these depths, and try coming up with your own algorithms. So I think at this point, it's safe to assume that while we don't know what we're going to do with the wonder, we are going to assume the galaxies are pretty simple things. And if your galaxies are not simple things, finding ways to characterize that complexity is good to start now.
I might finesse that a little.
the supernova people happy with different pipeline?
As far as I know, it hasn't been tested in detail to see if it's data so far. CCNA is not at the level I was expecting that to do.
I mean, presumably the problem is scale. You've got to use machine learning to remove false scanning problem.
For the detection quality, I cannot do it. But I'm sure it's going to be tested. It's a baseline for the suppose.
So we'll be doing supernovae this autumn using HSC and the LSST prototype pipeline. And it's working surprisingly well. Andy's had a student look at that campaign.
So Colin looked at that data as a postdoc work that he's done, and he was finding that it's hard to do an exact comparison to what DES is doing, but it seemed to be that by accounting for the correlated noise in the images, they were getting down to the same level of false positives that DES was doing with machine learning. But we were not doing machine learning, we were just treating the noise appropriately.
So that means if you use machine learning, you can do better?
We should do that, but we haven't looked at that. What we're trying to understand, a lot of the focus that's going on at the moment is trying to optimize the image operations to reduce the number of false positives and understand where they're coming from, and then move over to using machine learning techniques after that.
So that's matching PSF to the master image.
So matching the PSF, measuring dipoles, calculating the effects of the correlated noise, all of those things.
How are you tracking the correlated noise? You're tracking that correlated noise when you do the difference imaging. So you created a template that is smooth or something, and you're subtracting that.
So there's a couple of techniques. One is Paul Price came up with a way of actually carrying the covariance forward. And then there's a modification of yeah, an Israeli group, Sorak et al. Have a paper out a few months ago that we presented.
And when you're carrying it, carrying the correlation forward, how do you do that? I mean, how are you creating a three-dimensional structure?
No, we're estimating what the covariance structure is.
As a function of position and
I can point you to a report on where we stand on that.
Yeah.
it's not my
Okay, so that case we've declared the session closed. We get some proper.
Should I turn on the lights?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it the end of the session? No. I think it is.
So no, I know it's coffee or something.
Yeah. I think you talk about the training.
Oh, actually.
So
No, 3:30.
yeah.
Oh, then we have another.
No,